everybody. Welcome to Sports Bitches. My name is Rachel Bonetta. I am joined by two of my favorite sports bitches, Sarah Tiana, Megan Gailey. I am so excited to see you guys. I'm in New York City right now, and I'm staying in Williamsburg, okay? And I was scrolling on TikTok last night, as I love to do, and I was starting to get fed all of these TikToks of there being a serial killer in Williamsburg right now. And it's literally where these bodies keep on getting dumped is literally like steps away from the studio that I am shooting. I'm shooting in like an industrial area in this like warehouse. And there have been like 3 bodies found in this like creek that runs behind these studios.
And who are the victims?
Yeah, male.
Same demo?
They are all men.
Oh, men.
So
Is there a female vigilante?
Maybe it's just, female Batgirl. It's just the mob.
I don't think so. So this area is very industrial. A lot of raves. Yeah. A lot of raves happening in Williamsburg.
I used to live right. I lived in Williamsburg.
Were you raving? Were you raving it up?
I was not raving, but I was doing a lot of stand-up in lofts that like 10 people lived in. You know, like I would like perform in like a bus that was like in a loft. And I'm like, this is a girls episode.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so are these victims, are they young? Are they old? Do they...
I think they are the demographic that would be attending raves. So like, I think a little bit younger and the whole, what I have been seeing, but what's so freaky is like, I'm getting fed these TikToks because, you know, the algorithm knows that I'm here and,
scary.
It's super scary. And I feel like, so what I have heard is that there's not a lot of cell reception here. So people have to walk in order to like, call an Uber or get a cab. And I was taking a lift home last night from the shoot and I was like, this guy could easily just pull into one of these like lumber yards and woo! I was scared.
Yeah.
I even, have you guys ever been so nervous in an Uber? I made a fake phone call.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, hey babe, I just sent you my Lyft notification. Thanks. You can follow my car. I'll be home in a couple minutes and then we can go out for dinner. We can go and have fun. Will you meet me outside? Like,
and the guys, I think they know what we're doing.
Yeah, they know.
I am doing a lot of fake phone calls to Santa right now. Like I am on the phone with Santa multiple times a day, being like, no scooter? Okay, yeah, Santa said no scooter unless you listen to mama. So like
that's really smart.
You know, yeah, I feel bad for Cage and Conrad because like we have theater degrees. You know, it's like we are selling it.
Yes, I will say if you tell Siri to call Santa, she will call Santa. So you could be like I think it'll work.
Can somebody do this
Siri,
right now?
Please call Santa. Oh, it's Santa.
She's like, you're an adult. Go back to your day job.
Let me try it again. Hey Siri, call Santa. Oh, to reach Santa, just say ho, 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 and wave your arms in a snowflake pattern 5 times. Ho, ho, ho.
Are you serious? Siri's making you look like an ass right now.
It's because I have Do Not Disturb on, I think. Okay, anyway, it works.
Okay, but this
worked all last Christmas for me.
Okay.
That is cute. Okay. That is cute. Shout out Siri. Anyway, so hopefully I make it home, you guys. Hopefully I make it home.
No. And you can fake call us. You can real call us. I mean, update our girl. Well, I don't know if she's our girl. Maybe that's a little too far. Karen Reed has a new profile in Vanity Fair that came out today. I will be reading. And I finished Presumed Innocent last night. Thank you.
Ooh, that was good.
What did you think?
You know, I thought it was so good. This is a spoiler, so if you've not watched Presumed Innocent on Apple Plus,
skip ahead.
Fast forward. I do
or read the book or watched the movie.
Yes, I do hate when it's a teen.
I didn't like the ending. I thought I
didn't like it either.
The whole show was so good until the end. You know, like I definitely wanted it to be. It made sense that he thought it was her because then with his wife, because then you go back and you're like, oh, this is why he's like yelling at her because he's like, I'm doing all of this. Because the whole time you're like, why is he being such an asshole to his wife when she's staying with him? And he's like, oh, I'm staying with her so that
she's a murderer.
Because she murdered her.
Yeah, it's Mayor of Easttown. Like, it's like, because these kids usually have a reason. You know, like, there's never a reason to kill anybody. But it was like, Mayor of Easttown, like, the dad basically had statutory capital R with the cousin. And it's like, well, I can't be doing that.
Oh, my God.
Okay. All right, I'll put a pin in it.
Sports. Yeah. Well, just so you guys know, you know, some people started to tune into this podcast as the NFL season started, but before that, this is a sports, but also a murder recap. We're very interested in the murder of the world. Okay, so just know that you're signing up for that as we move forward. Okay, let's get into sports. The World Series is happening right now. As of right now, I don't know when we're going to put this episode out because there is another game tonight, and it could be all over.
Game 4 tonight.
But the Dodgers lead 3-0 against the Yankees. Okay, so here's where we stand. What do we want to talk about first? Because Meg's got tickets to Game 6, and we don't want to jinx it, okay? Because it could...
Right.
Listen, if we talk about it being over and then it goes on to Game 6, we're going to be in trouble. So how are you feeling about holding on to these Game 6 tickets? Are you feeling good about it?
So, like, I'm thrilled we have these tickets. They were expensive. We do get our money back if we end up not going. But I had to arrange a babysitter for Friday night. And it's our old nanny who knows nothing about sports. And so I'm trying to explain to her, like, okay, so the Dodgers are up 3-0. If they win one more game, we're actually not going to need you. But so I'm like, literally, I'm trying to explain 7-game World Series strategy. And so she's like, okay. She goes, I hope they win, but I hope they don't. Like, I would say as a fan, I want them to win. And I want them to win sooner rather than later. And if we don't get to use the tickets, CJ said we could go to Hawaii.
Oh. When? Okay. On Friday?
On Friday.
With the nanny?
I'm going to call Shohei. And I'm going to be like, listen, bring your friend. He seems fun. And then we're all so I think we'll get to go in like February and we'll get the money back. But like CJ wants to go. CJ really wants to go. And I'm like, that means they lose 2 in a row.
Here's the thing.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I thought that the Dodgers were going to win the World Series at home in Game 6 because Game 6 is Fernando Valenzuela's birthday. And I was like, so, you know, I already, as soon as Valenzuela died, I was like, oh, here it comes. You know, like the Dodgers are going to win. Yeah, the Dodgers are going to win. And I say that because when the Braves won their World Series, it was the year that Hank Aaron died. And
you have to have a galvanizing death. Everyone knows that. You know.
And Hank, and like in the World Series, Hank Aaron was number 44, and like there were 44 runs scored in the World Series.
Wow.
Like
that was really magic.
There was so much numerology. And so I think Valenzuela was 34, right? Number 34. Yeah. So I'm just like waiting for all that numerology to come out. But I thought as soon as they said his birthday was on Game 6, I go, oh, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. So I do hope that it happens and that you get to watch it in person and that, you know, them win in person. But right now, it just feels like every time I'm watching these World Series, I'm like, I don't feel like the Dodgers pitching is like so dominating that like, I just feel like the Yankees hitting is so bad that they aren't hitting just like Yamamoto has been really lights out, but I don't think Walker Buehler is not a guy that goes 6-7 innings. He didn't do that all year, you know, and Flaherty is very good, but his stuff is like kind of average, you know, that's like what Big Papi was saying before, you know, like even in the Mets series. So, you know, it's very bizarre to me that the Yankees just are completely in a drought when it comes to hitting. A lot of that is mental. You know, baseball is a very mental sport.
It really is. And being in a 3-0 hole, like that's a hard hole to climb
then
out
you're
of.
chasing.
And also just like like Freddie Freeman, I mean, we really want to talk about him, but like him stepping up and having these like insane games of this series, and we wanted to talk about where everyone was when the Grand Slam happened because
also, that is, I think, what changed everything in this series. All the momentum changed. You know, the
because he wasn't winning a lot of home runs before this series.
He's
right?
been
like
hurt. He's been hurt.
Yeah.
He's as we've mentioned on the show, has gone through his injury, his son's illness. It's been a heavy year for him. I was in Indianapolis on Friday night. I got to open for Chelsea Handler at like the theater of my youth, where I used to like go see concerts and stuff. My parents were there.
Cool.
My favorite high school teacher, 4 of my 7 bridesmaids. Like, we were having a time.
Wow.
And so we went to Kilroy's
awesome.
downtown, which has pepperoni stuffed breadsticks. And we got there. Oh, they're so good. They're so good. So we got there. There were like 8 of us gals. We're sitting at a table, and there were these like Yankees fans behind us. I think they were just men who had bet on the Yankees, because none of them were wearing Yankees gear, and they seemed to, I asked them who they were rooting for, and the guy goes, "I don't really watch baseball." And I'm like, okay, I hate you.
Oh, God.
I don't like you. And so Freddie steps up. You know, the Yankees scored in the 10th. Then Freddie steps up, and he hit, and it was immediate. And like, even this bar in Indianapolis, like these other men that I hadn't noticed yet, like we all just started screaming. I started crying. I put my face in my hands, because all my friends were there. They're not Dodgers fans. They don't even know what's happening. And so I put my face in my hand, and I was giving myself a pep talk to go, Megan, do not act like a psychopath. Do not fight anybody. You do not need to do this. I gave myself a pep talk, and then I ordered 8 redheaded sluts and made all my friends
Yeah. That is the kind of night when you watch something that big happen in sports, you're like, oh, I'm getting blackout now. Like, I am ready to rage. That's so
when
fun.
it's your own team, especially, you're very excited. I mean, I thought that whole inning was very fascinating. You know, obviously going to Nestor Cortez, who hadn't pitched in 37 days, was like a choice. If it works out, it's brilliant. If it doesn't, you know, you could get fired. Like, that's what Aaron Boone did. And like, also, I thought it was really confusing when Verdugo made the catch, the foul ball catch, and then the runners got to advance. I was like, I totally forgot that was allowed, because you fell into the field of play, because it doesn't happen like in the dugout, but I guess there just never have been runners on first and second when I could remember. So anyway, the runners advancing, then they walk Mookie to get to Freddie, and then bye-bye, night-night, one pitch.
And it's like,
night-night.
Freddie's a former MVP, you know? It's like, you're walking an MVP to get, that is the Dodgers.
Yeah, but
it's like, everywhere you look, someone can hit.
You're walking to get to the lefty. It's like, like Nestor's great against lefties. He's, you know, so like, it was like, but you know, normally Tim Hill was the guy that has been doing that for the Yankees. And, you know,
but there's also something for Freddie. It's like, oh, you don't think I can, like, oh, you're going to walk him to get to me? Like, okay, cool. I'll show you what I can do.
The amount of people in my mentions who are like, thank you for Freddie. Thank you for Freddie. And I'm like, Freddie won me a World Series. He owes me nothing else. He should have gotten paid by whoever. The Braves do not give you your first contract. Your second contract, we give you your first. I like that about him. Freddie's 35 years old, so you're paying him for the first 3 years, and then you're hoping you get something out of him the last 3 to 4. So good luck with that. This is the time to utilize all of his strength and his power, and he's been very good. And I'm very excited for him.
Yeah. What is, sorry to sidebar, but what's in a redheaded slut? What is that?
Okay, so a redheaded slut, honestly, I can't take like tequila or Jameson shots anymore. If someone orders them, I'll be like, okay, and I'll take like a. Yeah, I just can't do it. So I think a redheaded slut is Jaeger.
Oh, stop.
Okay,
no more.
And
I don't even need to hear the other ingredients.
No, we all took my friend Francie, she was really upset with it, and then everyone else was like, that was kind of good, but it was pretty tasty.
Oh my God. If I'm going to do a shot, I'll do a shot of Fireball. But, okay, ew. Jägermeister, peach schnapps, and cranberry juice?
Yikes. No.
That's nasty, dude.
That's not happening, bro.
That's so nasty. And I didn't even get, like, you were like, you're gonna black out and it's like, I had eaten so many pepperoni stuffed breadsticks that I was, like, sober.
That was another thing. There's pepperoni stuffed breadsticks at the Pittsburgh Steelers game, and they're called pizza logs.
Ew, a log is not named after food.
Gorgeous.
A log is
gorgeous. Yeah,
I'd rip a pizza log right now. Yeah.
Wait, you were.
By the way, I was at like the USC Rutgers game with some of the moms from my Catholic school moms who can get after it. And my friend who, they both went to USC, so we had like these tailgate tickets, and we go in and they had like this private bar with all these tables and stuff. So I was drinking like double drinks, and I had an edible. And like one of the ladies goes and gets us chicken sandwiches. I'm like, I'm not hungry. Then I think I ate it in 3 bites.
Yeah, you on it.
I was, like, and then I'm like, well, let's just go check the end of this game. I got to see what's going on in this game. I'm like, oh, they're in extras and the bases are, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, the whole place goes nuts. You know, there's a football game going on behind us, but there's more people cheering in the bar outside the stadium. Oh my, and then my phone just starts blowing up from Dodgers fans. Like, thank you for Freddie. Thank you. I'm like, you're welcome. Have a good day.
You saying you were on an edible reminded me that I did take mushrooms.
What?
Oh my God.
Now maybe me crying makes more sense now. Mushrooms, pepperoni stuffed breadsticks, and redheaded slut.
Pizza logs, mushrooms, redheaded sluts. That's what went into Megan's
That is quite the Friday night for a mom. Oh my God.
That's a full send, Meg. I'm proud of you.
I didn't get home until 3 a.m. to my parents' house. You know, so it's me and my best friend sneaking in at 3 a.m. on freaking mushrooms.
Can I just like sidebar ask you one quick question? Because Indiana football is doing so good right now. They're undefeated and like everyone's talking about them. Are you devastated about that?
I am. And when I was flying to Indy, it was all IU fans, like IU hats everywhere. And the guy behind me, I had on a Dodgers hat, and he was like, I like your hat. And I go, thank you. And then he goes, a lot of IU hats. And I go, yeah, and I went to Purdue, so I don't like this. And then I go, I went to the better academic school, so we don't feel like we need to shout about it all the time. And then a woman sitting next to me goes, I agree. So it's like, it's worse because Purdue is so bad.
Yeah,
that sucks.
Feels crazy, but I don't hate IU. I only ever had fun at IU, so I'm happy that their fans get to feel this. And I know that they'll be bad at basketball again. So it's like
so there you go. A tip for
there you go. Sorry, Rachel, we didn't get to talk to you about where you were when Freddie Freeman hit him.
I think I was drunk at a restaurant and we were watching on Zach's phone. But speaking of Seattle, let's talk about some football. Let's talk about some NFL. I got to go to a Seahawks game, and they got absolutely spanked by the Bills, which sucked. But otherwise, I don't know if you guys have ever been there before at Lumen Field. Incredible experience. I started crying. I'm not a flyover gal. I don't like loud noises. But just the whole beginning of the game, and these like, boo, 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 boo. And we heard them before we saw them, and then you see them up on the jumbotron of like them coming in. Literally the biggest planes I've ever seen in my entire life, and the guys were hanging out of the back of them. And I was like, I love America.
Yeah,
I know. I get real Republican when there's a flyover.
I'm like, full.
Yeah, we gonna get you.
I get full red whenever I see gigantic planes. But anyways, the game sucked, but otherwise, it was pouring rain. I had a poncho on. It was great. Otherwise, I felt like going into that game, I wasn't that mad because sometimes I don't really like going to live games because you miss out on the whole slate.
Right.
Going into that day, I was just like, in my opinion, I was just like, there's not really any games that I'm super excited to watch from today, so I'm fine going to a live game. And there were some crazy witching hour situations. It was bonkers. Probably the biggest one of the day came down to the Bears and the Commanders. They were tied up. Jayden Daniels throws this insane Hail Mary. It is caught in the end zone. The entire place erupts. What did you guys think about that ending? Because there was some controversy as well. The controversy being the quarterback taunting the fans.
Well, I mean, I am a Jayden Daniels stan. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like the Bears, because I don't like their fans, even though they're like so sad all the time because they like never win. But just like, I do want Caleb Williams to do good, but I just did not think that he was the best quarterback in the draft. I thought that there were other guys who were better, and I think Jayden Daniels is showing that like, you could have had this. You could have had this, but you went with that. So I just threw that pass with half a rib and or a nipple ring that was pulled out as
Rachel. Hold on. Pause. So, okay, this is another thing we need to discuss. So Jayden Daniels was on the injury report with like a bruised rib or a broken, some kind of rib injury, right? But the rumor is that there is no rib injury and he actually had his nipple pierced and the piercing got pulled out.
Oh, which would make more sense because it's almost impossible to throw a 40-yard Hail Mary with bruised ribs.
That was
like
60. Megan and your numbers.
That's crazy. I took the under this time. That was a 7,000-yard Hail Mary. And all the analysts were like, "How did he do that?" But if it was his nipple piercing, he could do that then. So the cornerback for the Bears do lose in heartbreaking ways, and it's tough because they are a defensive team. Their defense is great. Their coach is a defensive mind. So for them to have just a total lapse of concentration, the Colts also like wanted a Hail Mary at the end. It's like Hail Marys attempts happen. They're very rarely successful.
Somebody's knocking on my door. Hold on one sec.
Oh my God. It's the killer. It's the killer.
Open it. Let us say hi.
Yeah. Make sure he's not.
I like to hear you.
Can you come back a little bit later? Thank you so much.
I love
Can
hearing
you murder me later?
I love hearing people's customer service voice. Hello. Oh, yes. Was it a woman?
No, it was a guy, but my phone doesn't work here. My phone doesn't work in the room.
Oh,
okay. Well, make sure he really works at the hotel.
Guys, I gotta get out of here.
This is really the start of a Halloween night, thriller.
No, don't.
Spooky. No, you're gonna be fine. I feel like Canadians fare well in horror films.
I think so too.
So the biggest lapse of concentration was by Tyreek Stevenson, a Bears player who was seen taunting Commanders fans. And it's like, haven't we learned this season that Commanders fans have been through enough? Okay, they're facing random acts of violence. He has since come out and apologized. He did it. He apologized Monday morning. He knew. He said to Chicago and teammates, "My apologies for lack of awareness and focus. The game ain't over until zeros hit the clock. Can't take anything for granted. Notes taken. Improvement will happen. #bear down." Oh, he posted that Sunday night. So we love an accountability king.
Yes, I love that. I thought that was really impressive.
Was he getting into it with fans? Like Commanders fans were yelling at him and he was yelling. What was the situation?
I think so, but then I guess at one point Caleb Williams was yelling look at the field but to all of them because it's long.
No, he's standing in the end zone, right before the end zone, probably around the 5-6 yard line, just taunting the fans. I don't know if they were taunting. I don't know who started, but the play is going on behind him. So he's not even watching. Then he turns around, realizes the play is happening, runs towards the ball, and then he's the one that tips it into the hand of Noah. I think Noah's Noah.
Yeah, you gotta bang it down, dog.
You're supposed to bat it down. Yeah, bat it down. That's the rule. Bat down. So it was.
I will say I do like when these things happen in the sports world. Who is it? Was it Nick Young that threw up a shot and he thought he went in and he was just
turned around and celebrated.
But it
did not go in. It just.
I do really like when that happens to
I just thought it was funny after this when all of a sudden Commander's sideline is going crazy and And like Caleb Williams' face is like, no. Like he had already been congratulated. Everyone was congratulating him on winning that game. You know, but it ain't over, bro. Like, here's another lesson for the NFL for you. And then, like, the Commanders side, like, they all start running out on the field. And Dan Quinn is, like, celebrating. And there's no one. He's, like, looking around for someone to hug.
Let's go.
It was just chaos.
I always have so much empathy for, like, the Nick Youngs, the Tyreek Stevensons, because I know this would be me. Yeah. Like, if I was athletic at all, I would have been fired by every single team. I would absolutely be celebrating before I get in the end zone. I would be going like, Kobe, and it being an air ball. Like, I get that human instinct to be like, I'm the baddest bitch, and then you foul out.
It's so good. It's so fun to watch. Not when it's happening. Not when it's happening to your team, but...
I do want to talk about the Browns beating the Ravens, because I thought that was quite the interesting turn.
Totally.
It was quite the turn of, you know, the Jameis Winston game, and we were given a Jameis Winston post-game press conference where he quoted an Eminem song, but not to the cadence. Like, that is also my favorite thing, when he's like, you know, you get one shot, and it's your time to blow. And you're like, you're not going to even say it in the... It's like saying, like, I just want him to be like, Biggie, and Biggie. Can't you see?
Can you not see?
Like, your words are hypnotizing me, you know? It's like, no, just do it a little bit on the... No, all right, don't give us that. But to go in and, you know, win at home against the Ravens... Yeah. And be responsible for that. I thought it was a really epic win by the Browns.
See, this just made me mad. Made me mad. First off, the Browns are always going to get up for the Ravens no matter who is playing. That's just like you're playing your division. Those games are always a little bit wonky.
They stole their team.
You hate each other. Exactly. Those games are always going to be a little bit wonky, and you never really know which way it's going to go. But this just made me mad because it showed us that this team has talent on it. The Browns, I mean, there is a lot of talented players on this team, and you can win without having this POS of a QB. And Jameis is not without his faults as well, but he is like pretty likable. And if he can win a game, like why even go? It just made me mad. It made me mad. It's like, this was the dumbest decision of all time. And I'll never be... People are like, oh, well, like, Jameis is gonna be the QB for this team now. Like, maybe you can, like, hop back on board. I'll never cheer for the Browns ever again. This is stupid. I hate them.
Yeah,
and I hate... Seahawks hat.
Yeah, you're a Seahawks girl.
I'm a Seattle girl now. Yeah.
I really hear you, Rachel, and I really hate to be a downer, but I know we have listeners that are not... well aware of Jameis Winston, who did have some, like, he would do some little, like, funny things, quote unquote funny things in college. But to be like, oh, we went from Deshaun Watson and now he's out of there and he's a bad guy. Jameis Winston is a bad guy. He has a very credible rape allegation, so credible that Florida State settled a $1 million lawsuit to the victim while he was in college there. It's like we've gone from bad to bad. So it's like, I know he's much more likable. And like, this happened in 2012. He still denies it. He also, so when he went to bat so hard for Deshaun, and like, listen, Deshaun deserves to have someone go to bat for him. Like, I do not think anyone should be so isolated that they end their life. And so it's like, I get why those two guys bond, because I think they think the world has turned against them. And it's but that's a consequence of your behavior. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I hate
him
to
saying,
be the...
No, you know what? More people need to talk about this, because it's like, I thought that he just stole crab legs. No. I didn't realize that there was a full rape allegation against Jameis Winston. So people need to stop. Oh, and also he was, our producer, Eddie, shout out to producer Eddie, he was also groping an Uber driver and stole the crab legs. So, I remember the Uber driver. Yeah, he's not a good guy. And more people need to talk about it, because they get so wrapped up in he does have this big, larger than life life personality, and he says strange things when he's being interviewed.
Yes.
So people are like, oh my God, Jameis is so likable. Jameis is so quirky and fun. But it's like,
good.
actually,
I'm glad Deshaun's gone, and it's like they're the same. There's a really good. I mean, it's a devastating.
I think the difference though is that Jameis did this in college, and I think you can, not to say that you're always the same person. I think that people can mature. Deshaun did this recently as an adult, like, and Jameis was an adult in college, but also like 19, 20. You are a different mindset and a person. And I do think that you have the ability to grow and change, but I don't think that takes away from what you did. Like, you're still
I just think the whole point is the Browns make terrible choices.
Yeah.
I mean, Kareem Hunt was on their team.
Yes.
They literally do not look at personal aspects.
They don't care.
And, like, what these guys can bring to the team in the locker room. It's all about what's on the field, which I don't agree with.
No, and they're not isolated. Because if you're a bad guy, other guys may not want to be around you. I urge people to watch The Hunting Ground. The survivor and her dad talk at great length about the assault in it, and it's haunting. It's really tough stuff.
Well,
and Sarah, I do think people can grow. Step one of growth is admitting that you were wrong, and neither of them will ever do that.
Yeah, I think, obviously we want them to admit that they were wrong, but if they, again, if they admit that, they go to prison. So,
and that's
go to prison.
You go to prison if you
obviously, yes, of course.
That's the deal.
Yes.
Step one.
That is why I think they are not taking that step, because they still want to make money and play football. And the NFL allows them to do that.
Yes. And that's why I will never let them off the hook.
Sure. And I think that is fine. I think the other great thing about this game is that by the Ravens losing, it almost kind of locks in the Steelers as the 1 seed in that division with their win last night over the Giants, which was incredible. Yeah. I've never liked the Steelers, but now with Russell Wilson being there, and also they have Darnell Washington and George Pickens, who both went to Georgia. So I'm just like, it's kind of making me happy, and I don't hate TJ Watt. So there's where I stand.
This is an anti-Eagles podcast, an anti-Steelers podcast. Although maybe we can get you back on track with the Steelers with their pizza logs, Meg. Maybe you can rethink things.
I'm never getting back on track. I have to go to Bethlehem, PA soon, and I feel like that's kind of close. But I love the Ravens. I hope the Ravens can sort of like use this as a rallying cry. Because I would rather see I know this season has been upside down world, but like, it's going to get into the playoffs and the Chiefs are going to win. So it's like, even though the regular season feels kind of chaotic and like the Commanders are back and like teams that we thought were going to be bad are good. It's like, but once the playoffs start, it's going to be the teams that are good.
I can't wait for the playoffs to start because there's a lot of teams that are good this year. It's going to be really fun.
I think there's a lot of teams in the NFC that are good. I don't think there's very many in the AFC that are good.
Which brings us to my team. As I told you guys, I scheduled 9 a.m. ballet for Conrad, and then him and I go out to eat breakfast after so I can avoid watching the Colts because it is bad for my mental health. And this weekend I was traveling. I had all day to lay in a nice hotel bed. I took a good edible. And I was just laying watching football. And the Colts are so bad. And like the thing is, the defense looked amazing. We had DeForest Buckner back. Like Zaire Franklin is flying around the field. I mean, they were getting to CJ Stroud. Like they made CJ Stroud look pedestrian because he just did not have time to throw. And then on the offensive side, if the defense is playing well, the offense is going to be terrible. And if the offense is clicking, the defense is going to look like little giants is out there. So the offense, there's been a lot made of Anthony Richardson's completion. I think he had like 2 out of 13 in the first half. And then there is this, semi-controversy that's happened where he was asked to come out of the game in the third quarter because he was tired.
He was asked, or
he was asked, or he asked?
No, he asked.
Yeah.
Sorry, he asked to come out of the game in the third because he was tired. Now, Shane Steichen, head coach, was asked about this. To me, this loss falls on Shane Steichen. I thought the play calling was really bad. I still am like, we have the best running back. Derrick Henry, someone's back.
No.
I'm so sorry. Somebody's knocking at my door again.
Knocking on your
door. I don't want Rachel to die while I'm talking about how bad the Colts are.
I know. I want her to die when I'm talking about how bad the Falcons are.
Yeah, thank you.
I want her to die. I don't want her to die.
Who was that? Who was that?
I have a it was another guy with water bottles. It's like,
get the fuck out of here. Do not disturb.
On my fucking door. I'm so sorry. You can cut that out.
No, please leave it in.
I think it's fun.
all that is
sorry.
To say. So Steichen was asked about this after. Terrible play calling. He acknowledged the bad play calling. The defense set them up to win. And then he was asked about the Richardson asking to come out. And in his defense, he said we had just had back-to-back 3 running plays where he was the runner. And so I see people being like, it's crazy for a quarterback to ask to get out of the game. Absolutely it is. If you're talking about Peyton Manning, if you're talking about one of these guys that just steps back in the pocket and throws, Anthony Richardson is gaining more yards than anyone else on the team through his legs. Now, that's not a good plan. We also have Jonathan Taylor, and we need to be splitting that. But now someone's calling me. Get out of here.
Oh, my God. Who is it?
So it's like...
Is it Santa returning your call about
I feel myself going insane because I just keep seeing Colts fans go, we got to put Flacco in. And it's like, Joe Flacco is really good. If we put Joe Flacco in, we're going to be right back where we are right now next year. We had Carson Wentz, we had Phillip Rivers, we had Matt Ryan. Flacco is a continuation of that same thing. And all that does is barely make us to the playoffs and lose or miss the playoffs. We have to start investing in the future. We cannot have a 40-year-old quarterback every year and think that's a sustainable game plan. So if it's not Richardson, I'm fine with that. But we got to find that out. And by putting Flacco in, we're not finding out because we don't know what Anthony Richardson is actually capable at this point.
But we've seen glimmers of Anthony Richardson. Like, I remember you were so stoked about him in the beginning of the season. Like, we've seen these moments of him being great.
No, and I still am excited about him, and I think I'm in a shrinking camp. But and I think this just goes to show how dumb sports fans are. And I put myself at the top of the list. The whole season, after every single game, they're like, "Fire Gus Bradley, the defensive quarter. Leave Gus Bradley in London. Why we never want him back." And it's like Zaire Franklin leads the league in tackles. The defense has kept them in games against the Texans, who are a much better team. And so it's like you cannot just think of the will of the fans. And it's like, if Anthony Richardson does not work out, I will accept that. We are not in a position to know that right now. We got to give him a longer runway.
I think also, last week, I think on our text chain, we didn't get to talk about it on the podcast, but Tua coming back to play, it's like these guys are constantly like, put me in, and they're raised and they're pushed from youth until they're, in the NFL. Like, you can do it. When people tell you can't, you can do it. You got to put yourself in. And I think it was an incredible move for Anthony to go, it's best for my team if I am not in this play right now. And whether or not you agree with that is him deciding for himself and his body and his mind what is right for him at that moment. And I think that should be applauded and not, I think it should be praised. Yeah, because it's like, how many people stay in and then, they get clocked or the play gets ruined anyway? Like, no matter what, the play had a better chance if he wasn't in there.
Yeah.
When you're tired is when you get hurt because you're not as
make a mistake.
Make a mistake. Yeah, that's such a good point, Sarah.
Thank you.
And earlier in the game, he had thrown an almost interception on like the 6-yard line, stayed in, had a running play, and then he threw an interception on the 6-yard line. And I think, I'm sure fatigue and just being like, I'm in over my head right now. So it's like, let's use Flacco as like a tag team for instances like that. And then
I also feel like Sarah, like to Sarah's credit, like that should have been coming out of the coach's mouth. That should have been, like, he should have been protecting his QB in that moment. Like, listen, I respect him saying, like, I'm going to get hurt out here. I am absolutely gassed. You keep on running me. So take me out and put Flacco in. And, you know, that should have been coming out of the coach's mouth. And I praise Anthony
for saying, being honest and being like, I was just tired.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't, you know, like, he didn't lie. He just, like, said exactly what's happening. And are we going to continue? If you're going to beat people down for being honest in a press conference, they're going to stop being honest in a press conference. So maybe we praise them for their honesty and their humility and saying, like, I wasn't going to be good enough in that situation.
Yeah. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because if he gets hurt, everyone goes, he gets hurt all the time. And if he comes out because he's like, I need a second because I'm running like a running back. If a running back runs 3 plays in a row, they come out.
I know. They sit down. All the time.
All the time.
All the time. Like, this is exactly why women need to be in charge of sports, because we're looking at things from like a more realistic, and all these dudes on all these channels who are ex-quarterbacks and ex-players like, you don't ever take yourself out of the game. It's like, well, maybe you should have you should have taken yourself out of the game a long time ago.
Yeah, taken a few less hits.
You weren't even good enough to play your whole career. That's why you're on a TV show on ESPN. I was never even allowed to play.
With your bald ass.
With your bald
ass. Okay, let's keep it moving. We wanted to talk about comeback player of the year. Meg got her chance to talk about her QB, so we're going to give Sarah her opportunity to talk about her QB. Kirk Cousins, I think he's favored to be comeback player of the year, but you're feeling really good about that bet right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I said this to Chris after the game on Sunday. I go, the Falcons are 5-3. We're leading the division. We've just beat the Bucks twice. We beat the Saints once, I believe. I can't remember if we've beaten the Panthers yet, because I just I forget when we play them because it's like such a non-game.
You will.
Sad.
But so, clearly we're the front runner in our division. We do have a tough schedule coming up, but like, it is what it is. And I think if Kirk continues to play the way that he's playing, he will win comeback player of the year. It's like, to me, I don't think Joe Burrow has a chance because the Bengals are so bad. Like, they're so bad. So. And I think
I can't even believe he's up there, to be honest.
I'll be shocked if Jamar Chase is on that team by the end of the year. I think he is a great trade. They have to be sellers before the deadline. And there are so many teams that need a wide receiver right now. Like, the Steelers are one receiver short. And then obviously the Chiefs always need receivers, and the 49ers are in desperate need. So, like, there's lots of places for like Chris said yesterday, he's like, the Steelers should get Deontay Johnson back from the Panthers. And I was like, ooh, that would be crazy. So anyway, the Falcons are doing really great, and I'm really proud of the way that they're playing. Our defense is, doing it, it's hit and miss, but our offense is firing on all cylinders. Yeah, our offense is firing
I would argue for comeback player of the year that Sam Darnold should be taken seriously. And we were having this conversation in our pre-production meeting. It's like, comeback player of the year doesn't just need to be coming back from injury. Like, Sam Darnold's been riding the bench for like how long now? A couple of years.
Coming back from just
on different
teams.
Well, that's what Geno Smith won it. Geno Smith won it from coming back from the bench.
I just thought, for some reason, I thought Geno had like hurt himself in some way. But the idea of they're like, you came back from being stinky. Like, it is kind of cute. It's like,
Flacco won it last year, right?
To be honest,
for being
old.
I
think that's a more interesting storyline.
Yeah, no, it's
coming
sweet.
back. I mean, I know truly the guy that was shot that came back, he should win comeback
player.
Oh, yeah,
that
was
that's
in the
true.
gym the next afternoon. I do think it is incredible when athletes come back from these insane injuries, but also to come back from being bad. Like, that's hard. That is hard.
That's an injury.
That is. But you're trying to convince people that you're not bad anymore and to give you a shot. And that is really tough. Because, like, as soon as somebody's healthy, they're going to go back to their starting position. But, like, Sam Darnold had to really fight to get there.
I just looked up when the trade deadline is. It is November 5th, Election Day.
Oh,
like,
no. There's going to be so much happening that day. I can't handle it.
I'm getting drunk that night.
Win Minnesota?
We're all going to be together.
Or did we lose respect for Nick Bosa? Like, what
You know what? That's a great transition into Nick Bosa. 49ers were the Sunday night game. They beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys also should be sellers. They should sell Jerry Jones, but I don't think you can. Can you sell your owner? If you could, I would. Nick Bosa interrupts his teammates' press conference to show off his white and gold "Make America Great" hat, which, honey, that does not show up on TV well. You know, like, if you wanted for us to see it and know what it was, red with white letters, go classic, Nick. And then afterwards, he goes and does his press conference in a totally different hat. And then when he's asked about it, it's like, I don't want to talk about it. And it's like, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
You really are.
Yeah, what a pee, dude. Like, dude, own it. Like, if you're going to come out and you're going to say it, own it. Don't be a bitch about it.
From the jump, it's a bitch move. Your players, your teammates are being interviewed about the game, and then you're going to crash their post-game interview to make such a bold statement, which, by the way, we already know.
Yeah, we know.
You think that's the biggest shocker? We know what's
You're mad you're not at Madison Square Garden. We get it. Sorry. Yeah. You have to be with your teammates. I started to think about it hypothetically, because I'm like, okay, let's imagine Sarah and Rachel are being interviewed. And I interrupt, which you know I would do.
Yes.
You know I would do this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so I would interrupt, and I'm wearing, like, abortion is healthcare. You know, and I'm like, woo, abortion is healthcare. Woo, 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 woo. And then I would absolutely keep that shirt on, because the reason I'm wearing that and interrupting my teammates being interviewed is because I want to talk about it. I want to get my platform out there. And so it's almost like, I'm sure Trump loved it. And then, but I wonder if he was like, hey, man, why didn't you wear it to the press conference to talk about me again?
You're going to talk about me. I'm going to help.
I know. It is just like such a cop out and a bailout.
It's such a cop out. If you're going to make a statement like that, which is terrible in the first place, come with some things. Like, if you're trying to be, he just did it to rile everyone up. He wasn't actually doing it because he's just like, this is the president that I'm going to be voting for, and this is why. You know, he could have used his platform to say, hey, this is why I'm voting for Trump. Bing, bong, bing, bong, bing, bong. But he didn't, because he doesn't want, there's probably nothing about, he probably doesn't even know what Trump is running on. It's probably just like, I am running for Trump because A, I'm dumb, but also B, because I know it's going to piss everyone off, because that's what I like to do, because my name is Nick Bosa.
Yeah,
because it's really, he doesn't deserve to be as hot as he is. I'll say that.
Yeah. But it's also just like, either make a statement. If you don't, and then you're just a troll. That you're like saying stuff with, like, you're trying to rile people up and gaslight, but you don't have anything to say behind it. Like, I would have so much more respect for you. You just got up there and you said, I really want people to vote. Obviously, this is what I'm doing and this is what I care about. I think more people should care about this. You know what I mean? You know, like, I don't want to invest in foreign wars. Like, whatever it is that you believe in, I'm assuming for Nick, it's probably immigration.
I think that's a kind assumption. You can't even spell immigration.
I mean, listen, as much as you hate Harrison Butker, at least Harrison Butker stands on his, you know, like,
women should go away. You know,
he really leaned into it. And if you're going to, just don't be a pussy about it. You know what I mean? Like, if Aaron Rodgers believes all this stuff, like, then fucking say it. Don't be a fucking pussy, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you can't.
Yeah.
It's just,
the good thing is everyone agrees with us, and he has been thrown under the bus for the last, 48 hours, which has been very enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, it has. I wonder what his teammates think. I always, and maybe they don't care.
Maybe they don't. I don't know. I'm so glad that we are all going to be together on that night. I'm going to be getting...
Oh, no.
Actually.
Sorry.
Hopefully... What?
Producer Eddie.
Are you getting a phone call now?
No, producer Eddie just informed us that Schefter has reported that the Colts are benching Richardson. After Sarah and I gave such eloquent reasons why they shouldn't.
That's why we should do this podcast live, is so that people can hear our thoughts.
I think that's a mistake.
Me too.
And you know what? The Colts sent me an email that was like, "You've been selected to give your feedback," but I think it was about like apparel. But I'm gonna email. Dear Colts,
can I say something really quick? This is kind of a hot take, but I don't think the Colts should bench Richardson. I think the Packers should bench Jordan Love until he's healthy. I think he's getting very close to blowing these games for the Packers. These last two, he leads the league in interceptions. I think Malik Willis can handle that team until Jordan Love is healthy. And I think the Packers should have done that. And I don't think the Colts should have done Richardson.
Yeah.
Damn. So what, are you Flacco starting?
Yeah.
Well.
Sorry, should we talk about the statue to get your mind off of it?
Yeah,
please. Nothing would make me happier.
Okay, so the Miami Heat unveiled a statue of Dwyane Wade, we think, because it did not look like him. This was listen, there have been so many bad statues that I think we should just call it. No more. We don't need this. Do a painting, do a photograph.
Painting. Yeah.
The statues are always bad. I don't know what happens.
Yeah, paint by number.
This has absolutely blown up. And even we really loved that the sculptors did like a post-game press conference.
They look so sad. They're like, yeah, so we, they look sheepish.
They owned it more than Nick Bosa owned it.
So I mean, a lot of people. So this has come out that there was photos of Dwyane Wade like approving what everyone, approving the work, and people were like, he said yes to it, but it's like, how are you? People have put so much work into sculpting my face. Imagine if I was just like, this looks nothing like me. But really, he should have said that because it was so bad.
Yeah, what are you even supposed to say in a situation when they're like, come in and see what we did for you? And you're like, oh, look at that. It's like, it's the shape. It's a good shape. It's like bigger than I thought. Like, these are all the things that you say when you don't want to be like, it looks awesome.
There's something about the coloring that's very off to me.
Yeah. Like, it's also dark.
He looks ashen almost. Yeah. And I know that's not nice to say. I wonder because Rachel, when you go in for like your final like dress fitting, they're like, oh, we're still gonna like tweak this or do that. Like, I wonder if they were like, oh, you're not gonna look like you were burned. But then like we're gonna shine it up. Like maybe they said they had some more tweaks to do, and he didn't know it was final.
I feel really bad because these guys are like a part of the art world. Like, what are they usually sculpting? I don't know. And then like. Then you get on sports Twitter and they're probably like, "Oh my god, I need to move back to Rome."
It's like Dwyane Wade. I think Dwyane Wade played for 16 years in the NBA, and it looks like he played for 80 years. Like, this statue looks so
it's not good.
Old. And I'm sorry, but Dwyane Wade still looks like he's 27 and he could take the ball and be a point guard. Like, he is so
does Gabrielle
hot.
Union.
And he's such a good dad. And like, I think that's honestly why he was like, it's great. Like, he's just like, he's a dad that is like super nice and, open.
He puts the shitty artwork up on the fridge every single time.
Yeah.
Oh God, not me. Not me. When I go pick Conrad up and they have some in his cubby, sometimes I'll show it to the teacher and go, you can just throw this out. You don't need to. I don't need to take this home. Some of it is bad. Not all of it needs to come home. Not all of it. I'm sorry.
I have one of those picture frames that you open, and then you can put all the pictures inside and you can switch them around. I mean,
but I think it's cool. Kids' artwork is always like so abstract.
Yeah, but like I've also seen Conrad color, and sometimes his heart's not in it. Sometimes he's like, "Okay, can we be done?" And it's like, trash that. When if his heart's in it and it's ugly, I love it. But if he's just like doing it to fill time, I don't need to display that. Ronaldo's statue is crazy because now I'm looking at bad statues.
I think that this is up there.
This is a trend. This happens. I feel like the Hall of Fame busts are always really good.
Well, Ed Reed's.
Like Ed
Reed's bust is like one of the best because you're like, wow, that looks exactly like, but like, if you can't tell who they are.
Like Conrad, maybe these sculptors' hearts just weren't in it.
No, maybe they're like, we don't know who Dwyane Wade is.
I think that's probably what happened.
Oh my gosh, gals.
Okay, guys, that's our episode. We love you guys. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to all of the things. We'll be back next week to break down week 9. Are we on week 9? I never know.
Yeah.
And hopefully review 5 stars.
Rate and review. Tell people about it. I get texts from my father-in-law after every single episode, and he says, "I love it."
Oh, go Seahawks!
That's our number 1 fan.
SEA. Hawks.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Be safe.
Christmas season's right around the corner. Hey, Siri. Ho, 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 ho.
Ho, ho, ho. Hey, Siri. Ho, 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 ho.
Homium, indeed.
Homium, indeed. This is,
and that's
you are fired, Siri.
Yeah, you're a dumb bitch, Siri. No, I love you, Siri.
Your sports bitch of the week, Siri. Siri is sports.
Okay, I love you, gals. Rachel, be safe.
I will. Love you, bye.
Have a swivel. Eddie, thank you. We love you. We're sorry.